So men might not be the sole breadwinners anymore, but we still live pretty high pressure lifestyles that negatively affect our mental and physical well-being. The two are interlinked. Today, we're talking about stress and how men can better manage it. Now, one thing I do know is that you truly are what you eat, and what you put into your body can affect your mood. I'm a prime example of that. What I didn't know, though, is that by choosing something like jungle oats for breakfast is an excellent choice to combat anxiety. It is low GI, it's high in fiber, assists in heart wellness, and keeps you fuller for longer. So you ain't going to be getting hangry halfway through the day. Here to tell us a little bit more about how we men can better manage our stress levels through diet and lifestyle choices is Professor Pamela Naidoo. Welcome back to the show, Professor.
Thank you so much.
I feel a bit self-indulgent because there are times where I do feel the link between what I eat, the choices I'm making in terms of lifestyle. Break it down for us, what impact can stress have on a man's health?
If you look at stress on a daily basis, the cumulative value of that is where the problem lies. So we can all deal with a bit of stress every now and again.
Situational,
Yeah, and we get over it. We've learned to cope with it over our lifetime, so we learn good strategies. But I think it's when it's cumulative, and depending on the stressful events that happen on a daily basis, can actually lead to the problem.
We love our braais, we love our beers in South Africa, I'm going to say unashamedly so, especially with all the craft beers that are on the market.
Sure.
What are the pluses and the negatives in that kind of lifestyle? Please say there are some pluses. Come on.
Look, I think that it's really quite simple. Actually, life is simple, and I think that people make it complicated unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Because it really is about having everything in life in moderation, including what you eat. So, you know, both those choices, it's not a bad one, unless, of course, the meat is burned, because there's more evidence to show that if you consume burnt meat, there's more of a risk for cancer.
Carcinogens there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, excessive amounts of red meat is not good for you, and nor is alcohol. So beer is an alcoholic drink, but because I think of its carbohydrate content as well, you can put on weight, and then obviously the obesity is going to lead to other, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and so on and so forth.
So if you can, very quickly, what are the healthy choices? What choices should we be making as men?
So there's a couple of simple rules for nutrition. Let's just start with nutrition. If you combine it with physical activity as often as possible, I think it could have really amazing benefits. So it's to have really all your micro and macronutrients. And so the way in which to get that is to have your food groups. Make certain that you have, a bit of your yellow foods, green foods, and a bit of protein, bit of dairy. And if you have a balanced diet, and really kind of almost like the Mediterranean diet, if you like, lots of fish and seafood. Of course, too much of shellfish is also not good for you.
I'm also allergic, unfortunately.
Yeah, and of course for your cholesterol levels, it's not good. So really having, food groups, I think, to ensure that you include that in a daily diet. But breakfast, like jungle oats is what you mentioned earlier. It's it is an important meal in the day because it sets your energy levels, and it sets your body clock, so to speak, in terms of your eating habits. Because if you have something like jungle oats, which is also, by the way, it has the Heartmark logo, which means that it's met the criteria as a healthy food choice for cardiovascular disease, in particular heart disease and stroke, then you do feel fuller for longer, and the chances of snacking and gaining weight then is reduced.
We could probably sit here for about 5 hours this morning,
Totally.
Professor, but thank you so much. I think what I've gleaned from that is balance is the most important thing, and that we cannot escape the fact that our physical and mental and probably emotional stress are all one and the same thing when you break it down, which means that making the right choice can affect all of those. As men, we are supposed to be impervious to stress, to harm, but the fact is that if we ignore the effects of everyday stress, we might be at risk of heart disease, heart attacks, and type 2 diabetes. So changing your diet to include more healthy foods like jungle oats first thing in the day and making time to exercise and to relax are all changes that we can make today to combat stress and ultimately live our best lives.
South Africa's original oat champion now has a range of nutritious, delicious muesli. New Jungle Muesli, available in an exciting variety of flavors.